Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our Open Up show. This is 147th episode, and then we are reaching to almost 150. Thank you for joining today. We have an amazing special guest today to share his life journey with us. Before we get to, before I bring him, I just want to quickly give you some details, information about our organization. Voiceman 360 is a non-profit organization. It started back in 2020 August, based in London, Ontario, and our focus is the well-being of boys and men. And we are working with the International Men's Day. International Men's Day has been serving for more than 25 years, and in around, I believe, probably most likely in 94, 95 countries around the world. And of course, IMD follows 6 pillars, and we are following the same footsteps. Why we want to have open up a podcast, weekly live podcast? The reason is that men, we don't really open up, or we don't share our personal matters, verbalize our emotional feelings. So we bottle up for so long, and then sometimes we never know, that will explode, and it will impact or bring some kind of health effects in our lives. So that's one reason. And then second reason is we want to bring out and then create awareness about men's voice issues. So we are giving opportunity to individuals so they can share their life journey, which can make a positive impact somebody else's life. Before I go bring the guest, I want to go quickly the disclaimer. We would like to remind you that Voice of Men 360's mission is always delivered with good faith toward peaceful harmony. The views and opinions expressed in today's episode are those of our speakers, do not necessarily represent Voice of Men 360. Our organization engages in discussion forums to offer inspiration and create awareness of the issues of men who wish to overcome their life challenges. We are not providing medical or therapeutic advice. Should you require that type of assistance, we recommend you contact a medical professional immediately. If you have questions or concerns, please, about today's episodes or any Voice of Men 360 content, please reach out to us at info@voiceofmen360.org. So today we have a special guest. His name is Salim Satori, author, speaker. He is joining from Malaysia. Thank you, Salim, for joining today. Glad to meet you.
Dear Sivam, thank you so much. I want to congratulate you for your 147th show. Wow, that's a milestone. Massive. That's massive. You're doing a good job. Fantastic. You're brave. You're doing the right thing. And I'm here to support you, to be with you. And this is a great honor. I'm humbled, but so privileged to be invited. And you see the value of the discussion. I want to wish Selamat Pagi or good morning from Malaysia to everyone in Canada and around the world. Thank you so much, Sivam. It's a pleasure. It's all mine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot to join, actually, and willing to share your life journey with us today. I want to take you back a couple of years back. What was the turning point in your life? Let's just start with that and then go from there.
Okay, it's quite a long story, Sivam, but what I'm going to do is they're going to cut it short. Yeah. I was in the corporate world for a long time. Then when I used to run teams and managing a group of people, and I love to educate and train them because I'll never pass to everything to HR or training because I think HR and training they are very much busy, and a manager should know the capability, strength, and weakness of his employees. So I conduct a lot of training while conducting meetings for them. So as that was my passion. So I left the corporate world in corporate world. Then I went into corporate training for nearly 14 years. 14 years. I mean, you're talking about lower management, middle management, all the way up to senior management for multinationals here in Kuala Lumpur and also in Brunei. So I do a lot of leadership management, conflict management, team building program. But here comes COVID-19 2020. Sivam, we are doing soft skills, right? Conference, like wedding planners, people, social skills, we need to travel to hotels, book rooms, there's a lot of flights involved. Sometimes you train and buses. So due to the lockdown in 2020, we everything was stopped, and almost all employees were working from home. And the first thing they did was to cut all soft skill training. So I thought COVID in Malaysia lockdown started in March 18, if I'm not mistaken, 2020. I thought things will improve, but that particular time, Europe, especially Italy and certain parts of Germany and England, you can see the cases was rising, and US was also hit by the virus with the first patient. But I didn't know it was so serious until I think it was somewhere in the middle of May or June 2020. The German finance minister jumped onto the railway tracks with a suicide note written, "It's gonna be bad." That was the first telltale, going to be bad. The COVID-19 lockdown will be very bad on economies around the world. And it's true, we have lost trillion. And he was so right. And that was really, really shocking news for me. And here comes 2020, and we still have a lockdown, and the virus mutated. And I really thought things will improve in 2020. Here comes Hari Raya, our celebration. Then I thought maybe I can also celebrate Deepavali with my friends, also lockdown. Then here comes Christmas. And it went into 2021. Things did not improve. A lot of companies, they cut soft skills training because they don't believe in Zoom and online. Because they are right, because soft skill training involves people, coaching, mentoring, you need people. So I didn't know, but I was having dark thought back in 2020. It was very dark, a very hopeless state of mind. One of the signs of depression, state of hopelessness. You cannot look forward, nothing to look forward, nothing to look backward, and the current situation is so bad. So I don't know what to do. What will happen? What will happen? I don't know. So I was having dark thoughts. I have panic attacks. Start waking up at 4 a.m. It goes all the way to 2021. Then when 2021 things, I had a couple of trainings online, but it got worse and worse. By June, July, August, I was really having panic attack at 4 a.m. I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and I was in a state of paranoia, walking around the house, pacing. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to tell. Don't know what to do. And there's I only had a fantastic friend, Gobinathan, who inspired me to write the book. This is a man, my savior. Virtually, he inspired me to write the book. Gobinathan inspired me to write the book. He said he was with me all the way. He listened to me. He spent time with me. I can call him. So I collapsed at home one day. It's in my book. Yeah, I collapsed at home. I can see the photo. This is a front photo. I collapsed at home. I told my wife I was watching something. It was so painful, depression. It started hitting the body. My body hardened up, Stephen. Hard, became so hard, stiff. And I told my wife I'm going to get a heart attack, Stephen. I really thought this is the day. This is the day. My wife took me to the clinic, and I said, I got to be prepared. I was thinking about I'm going. I'm done. I know something is wrong. Something was really wrong. And you can see the photo here. It's a real, I chronicle in my book. It's a real photo of me. You can see. This is the photo I've taken when the day. I would just don't feel anything. Totally no pleasure, nothing. Just looking to blank stare, hopeless, frustrated, down. And when my wife took me to the clinic, I was very lucky to be diagnosed by a family doctor. So she looked at me. She said, "You are clinically depressed. You have no heart attack. You have nothing. You are clinically depressed." But I said, "Why my body cannot move? Why so stiff?" Because you are under severe stress, severe depression, major depressive disorder. I had melancholia, so it cannot move. It paralyzes you. And I cried in front of the doctor. My wife was there also, and I said, "Doctor, please sedate me. Please sedate me. Please sedate me, because the panic attack cannot be stopped. Sedate me, doctor. I cannot take it anymore. Please help me." The doctor said, "No worries. I'm going to give you antidepressants. No psychotherapy can help that time. Do not talk. She listened to me. Go and take this antidepressant 30 days dose. After that, come back again." So I went to the nearby McDonald's. I took the antidepressant. Nothing happened. Within 15 days, the panic attack, the fear, the anxiety was reduced completely. Not reduced 100%, reduced, and I was be able to come above water, and so I can start to think cognitively and start to think clearly. Because depression removes your cognitive and rational ability, the frontal cortex. No, you cannot plan, you cannot think, you cannot do anything. So the antidepressant helped me to start thinking. So within 15 days, the panic attack reduced. I was able to sleep first time in 2 years very well. I was so exhausted, Sivam. It was real. The pain was so real. So I called Gobinathan and said, "This is antidepressant," and he cried. He cried as a friend. He said, Salim, I couldn't believe, He told me you did the right thing, meet the doctor, because it is something like a rabbit hole. You cannot come back. Depression is just, it can lead into nowhere. So what happened, I said, when I start taking the medication, at times when I see it, my wife also very supportive. When I go and see him, every time I bring the Fluoxetine, Prozac, doctor, I'll take with him for dinner. Then he told me, "Tell your story, Salim." I said, "What to tell? What to tell? Tell your story, the magic of science." "What to tell?" I said, "Gobi, tell your story." So I started to write, and I started carrying topics and articles from 70 chapters to 42. Because I read a lot. I'm well versed in geopolitics, economy, and everything. So I put it together. I collected a lot of data on the suffering caused by COVID-19 for many industry, especially the vulnerable industry like service sector. So I started to write, and I didn't know it took me 1 year, 3 months to write, and I couldn't go off grid even because I need money. I was virtually broke when I wrote the book, and I couldn't go off grid. So what I did, I used the time at 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m., which I used to have a panic attack. That is my off grid time. That's where I set up my laptop, and this is the very table, this is the very house that I started to write the book, chapter by chapter, 50,000 words. And I didn't know, and I self-published it. And it was a turning point. And do you believe, Sivam, many of my friends, many people around me, 99%, 90%, they say, "Shouldn't write this type of book. People are going to label you. They're going to call you weak. They're going to call you mad." You can see how much ignorance is there on depression, on mental health issue in Malaysia itself. So they say, "Don't write." I said, "No, I got to write because my daughter is for my daughter, for people who inspire me, copy, and for my kid. Because my daughter needs to know what happened to the daddy, what happened to the father. It's a near-death experience." It is a book written while struggling, while broke, and using my saving. And here we are. This is my turning point. I'm still a trainer. By the same time, I got this mission in commission. I got the mission to really destigmatize depression, especially in Asia. Let me share with you a quick data. Asia is a powder keg. Western country, they have treatment. In Asia, a lot of people don't seek treatment, and 15% out of the people who don't seek treatment will commit suicide. Untreated depression will lead you to suicide. Trust me, I was there. I had severe suicidal thoughts. So that's a quick summary about my story, my turning point.
Thank you, Salim. Couple of things
Thank
actually. What I can learn or what I can understand from your story. One thing is that, of course, certainly, it is everything happening for a reason, right? That's one. Second thing is
True.
that most people, or what will happen is that when they go some situation like this, and then they cannot take it, or they will end up with in the wrong direction, which is alcohol, or so many other ways, like drug
True.
abuse or anything, But in your case, it's good to thank God, you actually took a right step, and then you approach, you seek help. But at the same time, you came out, and then you really want to share your story to make some kind of positive impact in somebody else's life. That's the basic concept, the basic idea of this show. So I really appreciate, admire your enthusiasm and then willingness,
Thank you,
actually.
Sivam. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
You are very welcome, and thank you for sharing openly, sharing that those moments. It's not easy. It's not easy. So
My pleasure, Sivam.
it's
Yeah. Yes, sir.
thank you. Let's go back to two things I want to ask you on the same story, same situation, though. Of course, you went to those moments, and then you were going through some kind of struggles and pains, and a lot of things. But coming from those situations, those moments, and then what was the one thing? What I really want to share my story. I don't want to hide. I really want to share with other people, especially, let's say, for example, men's out there, whoever is going through same situations or similar situations, and then they can learn something from your situation. What was the turning point from that those moments to share your story? How did you come up with that decision, or
Thank you, sir. Sivam, very good question, very relevant. The turning point was this, the turning point, very good question. Aha moment came when I took the Prozac. Prozac is the antidepressant. And the aha moment came. Within 15 days, I was able to think cognitively. The panic attack, which is existential, which really threatened my life, you know, was virtually reduced. So this is the magic of science. The magic was science. So that's the reason I said, okay. But many people around me, they say, shouldn't write that book. But thank God, Sivam, I was reading a lot of European and Western philosophy, like Bertrand Russell, Voltaire, also, and Aldous Huxley, George Orwell. I read a lot of Western philosophy from those days, Albert Camus, Jean-Paul Sartre, Nietzsche. All this type of philosophy somehow ingrained in my head, and Charles Darwin ingrained in my head. I must tell my story because in the Western society they talk about their suffering and they write a book. When they recover from that, they write. Just like many people, Anthony Bourdain, they tell their story, they wrote their story. So why I did that? Because for humanity, it was no more about me because the pain is so real. And this is not a love book. This is not fiction. This is a real story. It's not about making millions, but I have to tell story to tell my story in the danger. That's why my book is the day-to-day suffering, how he started, what led me into this dark abyss, how I came out of it. So it is basically day to day as a man how I feel. Why men commit suicide? There's a one chapter. As a man how I feel. As a husband how I feel. As a father how I feel. So as a role in society. So what happened to a man? So this book is about a wife. A wife must read the book. If a husband is going through some difficult time, the wife will be understand that this is how man is. This book represents men, how a man feels when he loses everything. A man, I have a chapter on suicide. A man who commits suicide is not a coward. Trust me, I used to think, Sivam, dear Sivam, that people who commit suicide are the worst people. No, no, no. They fought depression alone. Nobody came. They love their family so much, but they just don't know what to do. No help came. So this is a book you really want to understand what happened to a man, a breadwinner who couldn't put food on the table. So that was a turning point for humanity. And my book is written in English because that's my mother tongue. I want to bring it across Malaysia, across all the way up. And today I'm here with you, dear Sivam. You're in Canada, I'm in Kuala Lumpur. So that was the turning point to really tell you about the magic of science. Nothing spiritual in my book, nothing religious in my book, nothing hocus pocus, magical. Only science. And what are the healing process? We can yoga, because yoga help. Yoga is empirically proven. The greatest gift from India to the world today is yoga, which is very much misunderstood in many countries. So my book, I only endorse two: scientific treatment, family support, and yoga when you're recovering. Not during depression, yoga cannot help. Scientific intervention, because the brain itself, it's an organic matter. The brain changes during depression. So that's why we need to work on the synthetic part. Then while healing process, yoga, meditation, and the right diet, right exercise can help get the person on track. And the family must change. The family must, because a depressed person change. I'm no longer Salim before COVID. I don't remember anything. I am maybe the same person, but inside all change. I seen the most difficult thing in this world, the hardest suffering one can go through is depression. So that's why I'm here to destigmatize depression, because untreated depression, one of the side effects, you kill yourself.
Exactly. That was my uh, the intention to bring out those information details, to the world, because whoever is watching, they have to understand. Somebody went through these situations, emotional challenges, and then how they can turn around, and then how can they come back. It's not that end of the life or end of the world.
Correct.
So we need
True.
to, we have something to do here. We want to contribute. We want to continue our life. What kind of message you want to convey through your book to the men out there, or women, or the whole society? What kind of message? What do you want to send out to?
Okay, very tough question. There are many messages. The explicit message is that a lot of bad things can happen to our lives, not our fault. And there are many ways you can fall into depression. The one way is trauma, loss of income, trauma, external trauma. Could be biological, could be psychological, could be because of old age, could be loss of loved one. So there are no immunity, there are no vaccines for depression. So that's the most important thing. My message is that why we need to talk about depression, because we know when we are sad, but depression cannot be detected. It is a totally a low mood more than 2 months running. You don't have any feeling, any pleasure, or even a simple cup of coffee, tea, even Mr. Bean cannot make you smile. So the message out there is that depression is real, and the most important thing is that if you have a family member, a friend who suddenly change in behavior and attitude, he start not talking to you. They will try, people who are depressed, they try to call sometimes some people outside their family. Do you believe I call one of my relatives? I call one of my relatives in the middle of night. I had a panic attack. Gobinathan Manikam, my guardian angel here, he picked up my phone even 2, 3 a.m. So, but I called one of my relatives. You know what he said? Sorry. No, it was very early morning. He was going to work. I'm going to work, lah. I'm going to work. He just said that. And after that, he didn't call me more than 3 years. He should have picked up the phone. If somebody calls me, Sivam, you call me, Salim, I got a work problem. I need to, sorry, Sivam, I'm going to work. But once I reach the office, I call. He didn't call. What happened if that day I commit suicide? What happened? They will reach out. They call you. They never call you, and suddenly they call you and start telling the problem. And you'll be shocked. Hey, this guy used to be happy, motivated, but suddenly he's talking so much negativity. He's going through depression. Sometimes you want to talk to people from outside. Sometimes they can't even talk to your family. So the message is that we really need to understand, we have to create depression literacy today, because everybody talks about mental health, but if you mental health without touching depression, you're wasting time for the talk. So depression awareness must be there. What are the symptoms? What are the things can happen? Because from mild depression to severe depression, it's non-linear, and everyone processes differently. So everyone handle their challenges differently. That's why depressed people, they try to fight the problem first. When the fight and flee, they try to fight and try to run away. They cannot do both things, so they freeze. They have this freeze. They cannot move. So that's why they need support, chemical intervention, because we are just bunch of chemicals, serotonin, GABA, and everything. And under severe depression, these chemicals have been reduced. So that's why we have to create awareness. We want to know. We shouldn't say it should only be talked behind curtains, behind closed doors and everything. The family must understand, because today, Sivam, depression is already a pandemic. We cannot see. There is no R naught test. There is no PCR test. There is no COVID test for that. You never know, and that's why we really need to openly talk and destigmatize depression, just like we talk about HIV, breast cancer, and other illness in the world. We really need to talk now. Now is the time. That's the reason why I'm boldly pushing for this message.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing. The
Thank you,
message
sir.
actually. What I can say to those viewers and whoever is going to watch later on too, not only men but also women and everyone, whoever can watch and also learn something from. The message is for me is basically, we always say, what, friends and families and things like that. But whenever somebody is calling, there's a reason. It's especially middle of the night, or somebody, it's out of the ordinary time, regular time.
Yeah,
So
correct.
even, okay, you are in emergency, but at the same time, you can call back or say, what, this and that. But
Correct.
if I agree with you, like, if you don't receive the call and then something happen, and then later on we go to the funeral home or to the
Yes.
house, and then we say, sorry, there's no point,
Yes.
saying
True.
sorry,
True.
or
True.
we are feeling sorry, because there was
Yeah.
a
True.
moment that given, there was a opportunity given to us to make a decision, and then save some lives, right?
Yes. True.
We lose it basically, right? So
Yeah. Correct.
it is not acceptable, or it's not the excuse. So, oh, I'm in the middle of the highway, and then this and that. So,
Yeah.
so please, do take care, if somebody call, or even keep in a communication, though. That's a better way. Don't
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
them isolate
True.
them. What I want to ask you is that, of course, it's a serious topic and then serious life journey, but at the same time, I just want to take you back to your childhood for a couple of minutes. This is a platform we are talking about men's life. When we talk about men's life, fathers fathers are very important in our role. So what was the memory, can you share some of the memories that, growing, looking at your father and then growing, how was the relationship, any memories that you can share?
Yeah, my father is a disciplinarian, Yeah, he provides everything. He's very supportive, and yeah, he the relationship was very strict. Yeah, of course, being traditional, and so we were very strict relationship, but at the same time very supportive. Yes, so it's a very good relationship, and he was a teacher, and he himself, inculcated a lot of good values in me about hard work and discipline and etc. But of course, was a strict disciplinarian, being a teacher, so it was not easy. But yeah, but it's
I
for
can,
all for the best. Yes, yes. I got a lot of
I can
pain, Uh,
I
yeah,
can understand. Was a
yes,
tough,
true. Yeah,
days, but it's
yeah,
at the end of the day, when you go back and then think about that, you learn a lot of things from
yeah,
him, and
true.
then also from those days, right? Um,
Yeah.
what I want to ask is that, how important is it for men to open up, seek help, especially, taking your looking at your situation, Salim, and then, nowadays especially come out and then talk about the emotional challenges with anybody,
Yeah,
who can trust. It's not everybody they can talk, but at least few
yeah.
people they can talk, right? So how important, and then how can they break the stigma? Let's say, what, if I talk to somebody and then they will judge me, or
Yeah.
so many things. But how can they break the stigma, the social, other things, but circumstances? But how do you? Why is it important to, how important is this?
Yeah, very important, because stigma comes from taboos. See, what are
Hmm.
taboos? Taboos are not even values. Taboos are something that passed on from generation, and it is it's created by the past society. We were no longer whatever the past. It was maybe useful that time. Taboos are social stigma, cultural stigma. Each culture got taboos, especially in Asia. Though we are modern, but we are we are very ancient in many ways, which is good. But also we have to see what are we preserving here. Some things should not be preserved. So the taboos must be changed, because taboo is not on the table or somewhere. It's a story. It's a story we need to change. The narrative must change. So why a man will never open up, especially in Asia, because you look at it when he was small, when he falls down, when a boy falls down, the father will say, "Hey, why you cry? Stop crying. You're a boy, lah." So is don't cry. But if a daughter cries, it's okay. Give you candies, So now he grow up cannot cry. So what happened when he's 40 years old, even 50 years old? You got a lot of problem. You start telling him to open up, he'll never open up, because 50 years of conditioning. You're a boy, you shouldn't open up. How will he open up? Because he has been conditioned not to open up. So the thing is perpetuating in the family. Then he has a son, he will tell the son, grow up, man up, all that, the toxic masculine, toxic positivity. So the society today, that's why cases of suicide high among men, because cannot talk. And there are certain societies are very. They we talk about mental health. They think you're cuckoo. They are mad. I've given my business card to many people. Some even went like that. They refused to take my card. They thought I was mad, or maybe I was having leprosy. Leprosy, maybe. These are educated people. And I was talking to one educated Asian working for a Norwegian company. She has a PhD. Was talking about mental health. You know what she said? Yeah, it's a serious problem. Then you have a PhD working in a Western society, which they openly talk about it. Why don't you talk to your community? You know what she said? I cannot do anything. See, she has been illuminated, PhD all the way in working in a Western. You know that is wrong. You need to talk. But the society today, in Asia especially, a man shouldn't talk, a man shouldn't cry, a man shouldn't share his feeling. This is a big stigma in Asia today. That's why Asia, as we speak, 300 million people are having depression and 15% will commit suicide. So, how to break it? Change the narrative. Tell story. Maybe you can have a group of men's circle, men's circle, where, a group of men can get together to talk about it, to share their stories, in a very safe environment. You got my friend doing it. This is a fantastic thing. But at the end of the day, the family must say, hey, people can break down. We are just chemical. Actually, there's nothing to do with gender anymore. Male and female is just, we are all human beings. That's why the narrative must change and on a policy level to openly talk. But a close-knit culture is not going to be easy because because they want to maintain the status quo. But down the road, 10 years, 20 years down the road, the new generation, I think the generation Z, they are really talking about it. They're really talking about it. Many young people approach me, they're talking about it, about mental health openly. So I think things are changing, but we cannot wait for too long. That's why what you're doing, Sivam, is today is you are really saying that I'm not going to sit down and let it happen. You're taking action with this, with your podcast. In many ways, you're doing to really say, hey, let's talk about it. We don't wait for things to go worse. We want to do it now. So biggest challenge is the taboo, and it takes time.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to ask you. The next question, like, what kind of challenges and the or issues the men or even the circle that you are working with or you are familiar with, corporate world, especially take for example corporate world. You have come across with a lot of connections or people, individuals, high profile people too, especially men. What kind of challenges, even though of course they are working high profile, earning a lot of money, and then they have a settled life or very good life, but at the same time, on the other hand, the opposite side, it's they don't really talk about their emotional challenges or any other dark moments. So there's so many things going on. So what do you looking at, or how do you see that when you talk to them, or what kind of issues you are seeing in that world, though?
Very relevant question. Now let's talk about corporate world. I was talking to someone. They say many CEOs, 5 out of 10 CEOs. This person gave me the information that many CEOs even have suicidal thoughts. Suicidal thoughts comes in first, then suicidal ideation comes in second, then suicidal planning will come, and finally the attempt. I was surprised. These people, I went into depression because I couldn't put food on the table. I lost financial, but these guys are earning T20s. They're earning a lot of money. Why do they have this negative thought? I think a negative suicidal thought. They have everything. They have money and everything. Because you see, it could be because many reasons: attachment, too much attachment, keeping up with the people, and a high expectation for things beyond your control. So they are worried if tomorrow I cannot meet my quarter, so what will happen? So they have this negative thought. Also, and also they're worried about what other people say, neighbors say, because they have come up with a persona. I'm a provider, I'm a man, I'm invincible, I have a big money, I have a big car, but they're also worried in the same time, will this last? So that's why we have to really look at life as a unit of analysis. And as a man, they say that there are a lot of things beyond our control. And the corporate world, why they don't talk about depression? Because it's a sign of weakness. Because in the corporate world, the depression is very real, and the pressure is there. Toxic culture is there. In my book, I talk about it. I can create problem in the organization without being a dictator, Sivam. I create a lot of procedures and processes. These are very, very hard. At the end of the day, I cannot even breathe as an employee. I don't have to tell you, but I can just punish you by looking at the procedure. You didn't follow the procedure. You didn't follow the rules. These rules create a lot of stress for organization. That's why employees refuse to talk about the depression organization, because they're afraid the HR will label them. So if I go and see a HR manager, example, you're a HR manager, I go and see you. I think I have depression. I'm on antidepressant. First thing they think, will the HR keep secret? Second thing, will the news will be leaked out? What will my colleagues say? That's the reason they do not tell. They take in silence. So that's why depressed people having anxiety attack. These people are not dysfunctional. They're very successful people. But also in the same time, you have to look back at your life, because one of the reason I talk a lot about Buddha in my book. Gautam Buddha mentioned those days. I consider Gautam Buddha is the first psychologist in the world. He said one of the big reason of is attachment. Attachment can lead to a lot of suffering. Attachment. He's very, very true. So, so we have to look back at our life today. Then look at our life. Why are we are so attached? Attached to things. That when we lose it, that we got a problem. Just like death, we are so attached to that to people. We think that will never happen. So it's there, but we have to be prepared. You must understand life is suffering. That's why philosophy helped me, because philosophy talks about the reality of life. It goes back, what are you living for? Are you living for, or you have this high expectation, which will definitely lead to worries and panic attack, and perhaps even suicidal thought if you can't make it.
Um, so, uh, what I can see, or of course, most of us can understand, when when they don't have meaningful life, or like going under so much pressure, especially working on the high hierarchy level,
Mm,
especially um, they never thought about their purpose of their lives. They
mm,
just run around, and then always just going after money, or chasing, or this and that, but
mm,
they never stopped for a while and then think about,
mm,
okay, what I'm doing, and then how can I contribute to this world. It's just
mm,
earning
mm.
money, and then taking care
Yeah,
of the
true.
public, this and that, just whatever they can do, but they don't really think about themselves, who I am,
Mm,
what I can do, something like that. So
mm,
it is very tough. At the same time, it's a mechanical world, but the
yes,
message is
correct.
clear. The message is very clear. You don't want to end up with a midlife crisis, or big
Mm,
deeper charm, sing in the ocean, and then later on, maybe you can come back, and then maybe you're not. So it will be
yes, true.
much deeper level, bro. So
Correct.
whoever is watching on the other side, take control of your life, having a balanced life. People always says,
Yeah.
social interest. If you have some kind of social interest, contribute, and then do something about it. Taking care of yourself, self care is very important. One
Correct. True.
question I want to ask you before we finish the discussion here. From your point of view, from your experience, doesn't matter ordinary men, or in the corporate world, how can we help men out there?
I think it's the first thing, because of the social conditioning. A man is a provider. He cannot. he cannot give up. He must fight. He must bite the bullet. You got to man up. All that. These things must change because our body. If you look at evolutionary process, our body, millions of years of evolution, and this body cannot take. In the modern man today, it's all about acquisition, more and more and more. This is creating our problem. Our ancestors, our hunter gatherers ancestors, those days nothing about more and more and more. Even a crocodile, you give him one whole chicken, he will eat it, but you pass another chicken, the crocodile will just swim away because they know when to stop. Man, it's all about acquisition, more and more. So we have to look at our life very honestly, not artificially, and look and say, what is that? And tell you have to tell your family members that things can go wrong anytime. And are you prepared? Why these men are so under stress? Because when they fall down, the wife and the kids are not ready. Hey, daddy, how come you fall down? How come you're very strong? You shouldn't fall down. You're a man. That's why sometimes we have to educate our family and say things. Things can go wrong anytime. Not our fault because of misfortune, economic factors, societal factors, ecological factors. So that's why men today must understand is that they please do not try to be a macho man, Randy Savage, and try to say you can take more because stress you cannot see. It eats you inside. There are many young men about 50, 60 just collapse and die. You get a heart attack. What are you trying to do? What are you cutting corners about your life? That's why I say my suggestion is to you pick up if you can, balance life, live a very austere life, look at your life honestly. Yes, nothing wrong to earn money, make money, enjoy the privileges you can, but at the same time, find a purpose to help other people. Here, just like what Sivam is doing, helping other people and talk to people and know about the suffering about other people. Visit hospitals. You want to know the suffering? Visit hospital, cancer unit. Go to the homeless, the house of the homeless people on the road, the orphanages. You can see suffering is real. If that can happen to them, it can also happen to you. It walks in parallel. So that's why I said, man, you really need to tell the people around you that things can go wrong. There's sometimes I need to readjust and evaluate because the worry is such. Suddenly you lose everything, and the family, everybody started, hey, you're a winner. Now what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? That's why they jump. The family must understand that things can go wrong, and the family must say it's okay to fall down and pick yourself up again. So I'm a man, I wrote a book, and I say there's nothing to be shameful about it because life is important. We have to save life. Your children need to know they need a father, they need to be there. No matter how bad it is, let your family be your support. And please remove all these artificial things in your life. Be real. Learn about life.
Thank you very much, Salim. One message, of course,
Pleasure.
the social condition is the one you had to break it. It doesn't matter which stage you are in or what kind of challenges you are going through, but the social condition, that's what the system or the social or the society, I would say, that we brought in. That's the way we grow up.
Yeah,
But we
correct,
have to break the
correct.
cycle. We have to break the cycle. That's the message.
Yes,
And of course, the changes. It's even though there are people out there, they are willing to help support. At the same time, you had to be ready to change yourself too. That's
true,
really
true.
really important, right? You had to understand, like we said,
Mm.
the meaningful life, the purpose. You just don't run around and then looking for money or chasing money all the time. It's more than that. So that's a message.
Yes.
But how we can purchase the book, Salim? Because most people or more people, they want to know. At least they want to read and then share the message. So how they can reach out to you and then get the book?
Okay. Uh, yeah, it's been less than a year. My book is out. Currently, I'm doing the sales of the book myself. And I'm planning to set up Amazon account next year, soon. Next year with Amazon, most probably e-Kindle book. But if they want to contact me, they can contact me via my Instagram or TikTok, and also I have an email address. I think an email address they can contact me. Then definitely I
What's the
can.
email address, Salim?
Very very simple. Salim Satori now. Salim Satori now. All together. Salim Satori now at gmail.com.
Okay,
Salim
that's good.
Satori now. Yes.
I will post that email address at the same time. What's Instagram social media address on how under what name or what ID they
Salim
can
Satori.
find Salim
Salim
Satori?
Satori also. Salim Satori. Yes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Salim, for taking
My
the
pleasure, dear
time
Sivam.
sharing your life journey with us. It is very important to
Thank you.
share at the same time that conveying the message. Not you don't want to hide. You really want to come out and then you want to share with the
Correct.
world. And then
Correct.
hopefully whoever is watching or they're going to watch, they can get the message. So one humble request is that just don't pass this is another episode or another show. Just get the message and then spread the message, share with other people.
Yes.
This way we can reach out more people and reach out other we can serve. So that's
Yes.
the only message, a humble request. Thank you, Salim, again, all the way
Pleasure.
from
Pleasure, Sivam.
Malaysia.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Sivam.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So as you say, seen so far, we heard, listened to Salim Satori's life journey with us, actually, all the way from Malaysia, and then he has been, or he went through a lot of emotional challenges, and then big stage, I would say, but he came out, and then he actually right now sharing his message through his book and also through some social media platforms and other ways. But what I want to ask you guys is that please reach out to us if you are interested to share your life journey with us at our platform, through our platform voiceof men360.org, or Facebook. You can find us Voice of Men 360. We do have a Facebook group, a Facebook page. Please join our Facebook group, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Voice of Men 360. And there are more than 450 episodes on YouTube. You can watch some of them, and then we want to create awareness, and then we want to save some lives. So please continue your support, and then thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Thank you. We can see you next time. Thank you.